Hi, this is Viv from Plugin Republic. In this tutorial, we're going to look at how to create a custom t-shirt designer in WooCommerce. We'll build the product in the following stages. Stage 1. We'll create a simple t-shirt designer product where the user can specify their own text and images. We'll also add some simple extra options. Stage 2. We'll create a more advanced t-shirt designer where the user can select from pre-designed graphics and preview how that will look on the main product image. They'll also be able to switch between different product views and preview the design in different colors. Stage 3. We'll extend the design from Stage 2 and allow the user to preview their own text and images. Stage 4. Finally, we'll look at adding a bulk order form to the product so that users can order multiple quantities of different sizes and colors in one click. You can pick and choose which options you want to use on your own site. Most of the features are available with just the Pro version of the Add-Ons Ultimate plugin. However, in the last couple of sections, we'll make use of some additional plugins for certain features. For all the stages, you will need the WooCommerce Product Add-Ons Ultimate plugin. Let's start with Stage 1, then add features and complexity. In the most simple version of our t-shirt designer, we'll just display a product image, allow the user to enter some custom text and upload an image, and add some extra options. In this version, the main product image doesn't update with the user's selections. We'll look at that in later steps. You can see here that we've already created a standard WooCommerce product. If you want to allow users to select their size and color, then you can make it a variable product. But for the purpose of this demo, we are using a simple product. We've added a price and a product image. Now we'll add some options to allow the user to customize the design of their t-shirt. For this, you'll just need the WooCommerce Product Add-Ons Ultimate plugin installed and activated. Let's create a text field for the user to enter their custom text. Go to the Product Add-Ons tab in the Product Data section. Click Add Group, then Add Field, and choose Text as the field type. If we like, we can set a price for the user to enter their own text, and we can charge per character as well if we want. We can also set a maximum number of characters to ensure that text will always fit on the shirt. If we save our product, we can see that on the front end. Now we can add an upload field. Again, we can charge the user for uploading an image if we want to. Save, and check the front end. We could also add some extra options, maybe the option to have the t-shirt embroidered, and an option for express delivery as well. These options could add extra cost to the product price if you wanted. So that's a simple t-shirt designer. Now let's look at some different options to create a product like this. The user can choose from some predefined text and images and see their finished product previewed live on the page. There are different options on the front and back, and options on the side as well. This is a much more advanced customizer, but you still only need the Pro version of the Product Add-Ons Ultimate plugin. Let's start by giving the user some predefined designs to choose from. Create a new group. Let's call it Front. Then add a swatch field for a slogan. We've got some graphics with single-word slogans that we're going to offer the user. Of course, you can change these for anything you like. We'll create an option for each of our graphics, 3 in total. Then upload an image to each and give the option a label. As before, we'll choose to hide the label. The graphic itself should be self-explanatory. And we'll check the option to layer the images so that when the user selects one, it will be displayed in a new layer on top of the product image. Note that these images should be exactly the same size as your main product image. They should also be PNG files with transparent backgrounds so that the design can sit on top of the main product image as a new layer. There's some detailed documentation on that on our website. Let's look at the product on the front end. You can see that the graphics are visible as choices, and when the user selects one, it's added to the main image. The only drawback is that the slogans are quite small for the user to see. To fix this, we can upload an alt version of the image. This one has been cropped so that there's no space around the design. Going back to the front end, you can see the difference. We can do the same for as many layers as we want. In this example, we've got a slogan and a graphic. The user can pick whichever ones they like to make their own t-shirt. Now, what about if we want to allow the user to customize the back of the t-shirt as well as the front? To do that, we'll need to create different views for the user to select from. But remember, you don't need to do this if you only want the user to be able to view and customize the front of the shirt. Let's start by creating a new group, then add a view field. This will allow the user to select different views of the product, for example, the front view, the back view, and so on. Choose the swatch field type again and upload an image to represent each view. In this case, I'm going to upload the image of a white t-shirt from the front, then the back, then the right side, then the left side. I'm going to add a label for each, but then choose to hide these labels on the front end, so the user just has the image to choose from. You can also choose how many columns to display the swatches in. Choose the Layer Images option. And finally, we can also set a default value so that this option will be already selected when the user accesses the page. Let's take a look at that on the front end. Now the user can choose which side of the t-shirt they want to customize. As they choose a different view, the main product image updates. However, there is a slight problem at this stage. If the user selects one of the predefined graphics for the front view, then switches to a different view, the design remains on screen. We can fix that by applying conditions to the groups containing the designs for each view. So we only need the front group to display when the front view is selected. To do this, we just add a condition to the front group so that it will only display when the user chooses the front view. Now, when we select a design for the front, then switch to the back view, the design elements will disappear. When we switch to the front view, they'll reappear. There's just one last adjustment to this that we need to make. By default, if a group is hidden by a condition, the plugin won't pass any values from fields in that group to the cart or order. To get round this, we can just select the Always Include in Order option for the group here. This means that although the conditions will work as expected on the front end, to hide and show the group depending on the user's selections, the values of the fields within that group will always be added to the cart and order. Now that the fields for our t-shirt's front view are working as we want them, we can create some fields for the other views. For the back view, create a new group and add swatch fields just like for the front group. We'll add a condition just like before on the group and select the Always Include in Order option. Here you can see this working on the front end. The user can choose their designs for the front and see them displayed on the main image. Then they can switch to the back view and see their selections displayed there. They can just toggle between the two. We can update the layout here as well. Rather than have multiple fields extending all the way down the page, we can display the groups in different layouts. Here I'll select Accordion, so that the fields in each group are displayed in collapsible panels. But you could also choose from tabs, steps, or lightbox layouts. We can continue this stage by adding groups and fields for the two side views, so that the user can add designs to their sleeves if they wish. Here's the product so far. the user can choose different views of the product, and they can select different predefined elements to display on different parts of the t-shirt, even on the sleeves. Groups are displayed in collapsible panels to optimize space, and only the panel for the selected view is visible at any one time. There's one final step now to this stage of the build. We're going to add the ability for users to select and preview different color t-shirts. Here's what the front end will look like. The user can still select the view, but there are also color swatches here where they can choose between different preset colors. When they select a different color, the t-shirt updates, but the design elements still remain. This is optional, so if you don't need to have different colors previewed as part of the customizer, you can skip ahead to the next section. To add color previews, let's add a field for our first set of colors. These are going to be for the front view of our t-shirt. We add a new field, give it a label, set the field type to swatch again, and add our options. We've got 6 colors, so we'll add 6 options. Let's first add an image for each option. So add the front view for the first color here, then give it a label. Repeat for each color. When we've added all 6 colors, we can save and take a look on the front end. The colors are represented by the images we've uploaded, but if we want, we can use color swatches instead. Just go back to the field and add a color value in the color picker for each option. Save, then you can see on the front end that we've got color swatches instead. Now we need to specify a couple of other settings. First, we're going to use the images we've uploaded here to replace the main product image. So when the user selects blue, they'll see the blue t-shirt in the main image. To do this, just select the Layer Images option. Then, because we want these color options to be linked to the view that the user has selected, enter the ID of the view field here. Now we need to create a version of this field for each view. We can duplicate the field by clicking Copy here. This is going to copy our options through into the next field, so we don't have to re-enter the color values or the labels. So we just need to go through and update each option with its corresponding image for the back view. Finally, because we don't want multiple color fields displaying on the product page, just set Field Visibility to Hide from Customer. Save, and let's look on the front end. The user has the front view selected, and they can update the color. The image will change accordingly. If the user switches to the back view, the main image will update again. The same color will be displayed, but this time from the back view. Now we just need to replicate this for the 2 side views. If we look at this on the front end now, all 6 colorways are represented. When the user switches the view, the correct image will display. The user can choose designs for different parts of the t-shirt. They can toggle between views, and they can toggle between colors. When the user adds their chosen designs to the cart, their options are recorded in the cart metadata. This will be passed to the order. That's the end of this stage of the build. Up to this point, everything can be achieved by just using the Pro version of the Product Add-Ons Ultimate plugin. In the next part of the tutorial, we'll extend the build even further and introduce the ability for users to preview their own text and images on the t-shirt. First, we're going to look at allowing users to preview their own text on their t-shirt. For this, we'll need the Add-Ons Ultimate plugin plus the Text Preview extension. Text Preview extends Add-Ons Ultimate to allow users to enter their own text to see it previewed on the main image. Let's add a new field to our T-shirt designer for the user to add some text to the front of the T-shirt. We choose the Text Preview field type. You can see that it has all the same options as a standard text field, so we can specify a minimum and maximum number of characters, set a price per character if we like, and so on. But we also have some additional parameters. We can position it on the image horizontally and vertically. And we can specify a maximum width so that the text doesn't extend outside the T-shirt itself. We can set a default text color and font size, and we can set a default Google font. By default, the plugin will automatically create a list of all Google fonts for your user to choose from. However, you can refine this list or even upload your own fonts if you wish. Let's save the product and take a look on the front end. Here the user can enter their text, and it will appear on the main product image. The user can also change the font. It works alongside our existing fields, so we can enter our own text and select a graphic. But at the moment, we can also choose a graphic that will overlap with our own text. To fix this, we can add a checkbox to the front end that will give the user the option to enter their own text. If they select this option, the field with the predefined graphics will disappear and the text preview field will appear instead. So we just create a new checkbox field in the group. Add a condition to our text preview field to only display if the checkbox is selected. And add a condition to the other field to hide if the checkbox is selected. Save, and take a look on the front end. Now it's only possible to choose a graphic or enter our own text. We can't have both in the same section of the T-shirt. We can add as many text preview fields as we like, so if you need multiple lines of text, you can add multiple fields. Or if you want to allow the user to have their own text on the front and the back of the shirt, you can do so. That's how to use the Text Preview extension along with Add-Ons Ultimate in order to allow users to preview their own text on product images. Now let's look at how to allow users to upload their images and see them previewed on the main product image. For this, we'll need the Image Preview extension. This also requires Product Add-Ons Ultimate to work. In our demo product, we'll add an upload field for the user to upload their own design to the back view of the T-shirt. Add a new field and choose Upload as the field type. Choose Preview Image to ensure that the uploaded file will be previewed on the main image. As with the Text Preview field, we can define the previewed image's horizontal and vertical position and set its width. This will ensure it always fits on the T-shirt design. Let's save the product and check it on the front end. We can upload an image and see it previewed on the main image. Again, we've got the same issue as before, where the uploaded image might overlap with a predefined design, so we'll just add a checkbox and some conditions to ensure that this can't happen. Finally, in this section, we can allow the user to edit their uploaded image, so they can crop a certain area if they wish. And we can also ensure that images are uploaded at a certain size. For this, we'll need the Advanced Uploads extension. With this extension enabled, we can trigger an edit screen when the user uploads their image. You can set a specific aspect ratio for the image to be cropped to. This will ensure that images are always the correct size and shape to fit your designs. So now we've got a T-shirt designer which allows the user to do the following. Choose which aspect to preview, front, back, both sleeves. Select a color and see it update the main image. Choose from several predefined designs for different areas on the T-shirt. enter their own text and see it previewed on the main image. Upload an image and see it previewed on the main image. Edit any uploaded images to ensure they fit correctly. This stage of the design made use of several plugins. You need the Product Add-Ons Ultimate plugin, then, optionally, the Text Preview extension, the Image Preview extension, and the Advanced Uploads extension. All these plugins are available separately or as part of the WooCommerce Product Add-Ons Ultimate bundle. This includes Add-Ons Ultimate and all its extensions at a significant discount. Finally, you might want to offer your users the option to purchase their custom t-shirt in bulk. We can do that by adding a bulk order form using the WooCommerce Better Variations plugin. This plugin can display a grid-based order from where users can enter a quantity for each product variation. For this to work, you'll need to ensure your custom t-shirt product is a variable product. In this case, we'll have an attribute for size and an attribute for each of our colors. Change the layout option to grid and view the product. You can see that there's now an order form. The user can enter how many of each variation that they require and add them all to the cart in one click. So that's how to build a custom t-shirt designer in WooCommerce. You can choose as many or as few of the features that we've looked at. You'll need the Product Add-Ons Ultimate plugin, and you might need one or more of the other plugins that we've looked at, depending on which features you need. For more information, check out the Resources section on the Plugin Republic website, where you'll find dozens of tutorials and case studies. We have a 14-day money-back guarantee and a world-class support team to help with any questions. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons.